Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Alice. She was sitting by a river with her sister when she saw a white rabbit running past her. The rabbit was talking to itself, saying, "Oh dear! Oh dear! I shall be too late." Alice was very curious, so she decided to follow the rabbit. Alice ran after the rabbit and suddenly fell down a deep hole. She fell for a long time, and when she landed, she found herself in a strange place. It was a colorful and magical world, full of strange creatures and talking animals. First, Alice met a small door. She could not fit through the door because she was too big. But on the table nearby, she found a bottle that said, "Drink me." Alice drank it, and to her surprise, she shrank to a very small size. Now she could fit through the door. But there was another problem. She had left the key to the door on the table, which was now too high for her to reach. While trying to figure out what to do, Alice met many strange creatures. She spoke to a caterpillar who asked her, "Who are you?" Alice wasn't sure what to answer because she had changed size many times. The caterpillar told her that she should eat one side of a mushroom to grow bigger and the other side to shrink. After eating a bit of the mushroom, Alice grew very tall. Then she shrank again by eating a smaller piece. She finally figured out how to manage her size and decided to continue exploring. Alice met a rabbit who took her to a mad tea party. The tea party was hosted by the Mad Hatter, the March Hare, and a sleepy dormouse. They were having a nonsensical conversation, and Alice felt confused by their strange behavior. Next, Alice wandered into a garden where she met a beautiful queen who loved to play croquet with flamingos as mallets and hedgehogs as balls. The queen was very mean and would often shout, "Off with their heads!" whenever someone made a mistake. Despite the queen's anger, Alice stood up to her and refused to be afraid. She realized that the queen and the strange people in Wonderland were not real, and she wasn't part of their weird world. Finally, Alice woke up. She found herself back by the river with her sister, realizing that everything she had experienced was just a dream. But even though it was a dream, Alice had learned many lessons about bravery, curiosity, and not being afraid to ask questions. Key vocabulary: curious, wanting to know more. Strange, unusual or different. Shrink, to become smaller. Talking animals, animals that can speak like humans. Wonderland, a magical, dreamlike world. Brave, not afraid to face danger or difficulty. Dream, a series of images or events that happen while sleeping. This simplified version of Alice in Wonderland focuses on the main points of the story and is great for learners who want to improve their English vocabulary and understanding of simple sentence structures. One bright afternoon, Alice was sitting with her sister by the side of a river. She was beginning to get bored and was just thinking about getting up and running about when suddenly, a white rabbit with pink eyes ran close by. Alice, who had never before seen a rabbit with either a waistcoat or pocket watch, was immediately curious. The rabbit murmured, "Oh dear! Oh dear! I shall be too late." and rushed off. Vocabulary and explanation. Bored age, feeling uninterested and tired because something is not fun. Curious age, wanting to learn or know more about something. Murmured verb, to speak very quietly, often with a low voice. Without thinking, Alice jumped up and ran after the rabbit. She chased it down a rabbit hole, and as she was following it, she suddenly fell into a deep pit. She fell and fell, but the strange thing was that she wasn't scared at all. Instead, she thought, "If I fall forever, I'll never land." Eventually, she landed softly on a bed of dry leaves. As she got up, Alice noticed she was in a very odd room with a door so small that she couldn't fit through it. Vocabulary and explanation. Pit noun, a large hole in the ground. Odd age, strange or unusual. Softly advv, in a quiet and gentle manner. Inside the room, Alice found a key and a bottle labeled, "Drink me." She took a sip from the bottle, and to her surprise, she began to shrink down to a very small size. Then, she saw a cake on a table with a sign that said, "Eat me." She took a bite, and instantly, she began to grow to an enormous size. Now, Alice was unsure whether she should eat more cake or drink more of the bottle to adjust her size properly. Vocabulary and explanation. Key noun, a device used to open a lock. Shrink verb, to become smaller in size. Enormous age, very large in size or amount. Adjust verb, to change something slightly to make it work better or be more suitable. As Alice was trying to solve the puzzle of size, she noticed a strange caterpillar sitting on a mushroom. He was smoking a hookah and asked Alice, "Who are you?" Alice didn't know how to answer because she had changed sizes so many times. The caterpillar advised her to eat a piece of the mushroom to either grow or shrink, depending on what she needed. After trying both pieces of mushroom, Alice finally managed to adjust her size and passed through the tiny door that led to a beautiful garden. Vocabulary and explanation. Caterpillar noun, a young stage of a butterfly or moth, often having many legs and a segmented body. Mushroom noun, a type of fungi that grows in damp places, often edible. Hookah noun, a pipe for smoking, usually with a water container. In the garden, Alice met a variety of bizarre creatures, including the Cheshire Cat, who appeared and disappeared at will, leaving only his smile behind. The Cheshire Cat spoke cryptically, offering Alice advice on her journey. He told her that everyone in Wonderland was mad, and that the best thing to do was to find the March Hare's tea party. Vocabulary and explanation. Bizarre age, very strange or unusual. Cryptically advv, in a mysterious or unclear way. Mad age, crazy, not sane. Alice found the tea party, where she met the March Hare, the Mad Hatter, and a dormouse. They were having a never-ending tea party, where no one seemed to care about making sense. They invited Alice to join, but the conversation was nonsensical and absurd. For example, the Mad Hatter was constantly changing the subject, and the March Hare would talk about time as if it were completely out of control. Vocabulary and explanation. never-ending adage, seemingly continuous with no end. Absurd adage, ridiculous, unreasonable, or nonsensical. Soon after, Alice met the Queen of Hearts, a fierce and temperamental ruler who constantly ordered executions for the smallest offenses. The Queen invited Alice to play croquet, but the game was unlike any game Alice had ever played before. Instead of regular mallets and balls, the players used flamingos as mallets and hedgehogs as balls. The Queen, however, was furious and ordered everyone to be executed for silly reasons. Vocabulary and explanation, temperamental adage, having unpredictable moods or behavior. Mallet noun, a heavy wooden stick used to hit a ball in games like croquet. Flamingo noun, a tall, wading bird with long legs and a long neck. Alice, not scared by the Queen's threats, decided to stand up for herself. She boldly spoke out against the absurdity of the Queen's behavior. Eventually, Alice realized that everything around her was a dream. Just as the Queen was about to give another angry command, Alice woke up, sitting by the river next to her sister. She realized the entire adventure was just a fantastical dream. Stand up for phrasal verb, to defend or support something or someone. Boldly add VV, in a confident or daring manner. Fantastical adage, imaginative or related to fantasy. Lessons learned from Alice's adventure. Curiosity leads to new discoveries. Alice's curiosity and willingness to explore led her into a fantastical world filled with lessons and adventures. Sometimes, asking questions and seeking the unknown can open up new possibilities. Self-discovery. Throughout her journey, Alice was forced to confront many strange and confusing situations. Each challenge helped her discover more about herself, her courage, and her sense of identity. The importance of play and imagination. Wonderland is a place where nothing is quite what it seems. It reminds us of the importance of creativity, imagination, and seeing the world through a different lens. Key vocabulary recap: fantastical, imaginary or unrealistic. Croquet, a sport in which players use mallets to hit balls through hoops on a grass lawn. Nonsensical, lacking meaning or sense. Perplexed, completely puzzled or confused. Language and literary features. Past tense. The story uses a lot of simple past tense verbs, for example, saw, fell. Met, to describe events that happened in the past. Adjectives. The story makes frequent use of descriptive adjectives like bizarre, curious, bold, and nonsensical to paint vivid pictures of the characters and scenes. Dialogue. The dialogue in the story helps reveal the personalities of characters and their attitudes. The characters often speak in riddles or nonsensical phrases, which adds humor to the story. By reading this extended version of Alice's adventures in Wonderland and understanding the vocabulary and literary devices used, you can expand your English skills while enjoying a classic and timeless story.